Good evening and welcome once again to Sista Talk. My name is Linda Talam. In today's episode, we are talking to women in business. We are going to get their perspectives on issues, especially the challenges, what they have experienced during the corona period. Are their businesses thriving or have they faced any closure? And in today's panel, we have women who've been in business for quite a while, and I'm sure we are going to glean so much experience from them. So we are going to start with Gaki Njeru. Gaki is a caterer and a hospitality consultant. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Linda.
How is your new year?
My year is going very well.
Right.
I would say I have a good start, and I thank God for that.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Then we have Mary Waweru. Mary is a CEO at Next On Limited. Karibu to the show.
Thank you so much.
We are glad to have you.
All right.
And also next to me is Beatrice Kairu, who is a health economist and a businesswoman. Karibu.
Asante sana.
Yeah. So today we are going to find out what kind of businesses these ladies do, and I'm sure they are going to sort some of you who would like to start business or are feeling afraid, and I'm sure you're going to get encouraged in whatever situation you are in right now. So Gaki, please tell us a little bit about your business. What does it mean by caterer and hospitality consultant?
Okay. Thank you, Linda. So being a caterer basically is just being a caterer. I'm in the food industry. We offer our catering services, be it in restaurants, hotels, outside catering for events. And that's something I have done for many years, since it was also my line of training in college. Of course, here and there I've done a few more things, but my main line is in the catering business. And then by hospitality consultant, I offer training for probably restaurant setups or hotel setups. So we do training HR, setting up systems when one is beginning a business in the industry. That is what catering and hotel or hospitality consultant is all about.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow, so ni kukula tuko.
Kukula, kushughulikia mambo ya chakula. Na sio kukula tu, eating right.
Eating right,
yes.
Good food. All right, Mary, what do you deal with at Next On Limited?
Next On Limited is a company that is basically dealing with environmental health, and also we are also involved in occupational safety and health, and also training. So we do environmental audits. We have a lab also that deals with the measurements of air. That's air quality monitoring, and also water testing and effluent. We also basically also do trainings that are accredited by occupational safety and health. So we do the training on fire, we do the training on first aid, we do the training on occupational safety and health. So basically Next On is an all-rounded company when it comes to compliance of factories and industries in the country. And to make sure that even when one wants to be ISO certified, you've got to make sure that you have run all the audits. The environmental audits are running, they're okay. The safety and health audits are okay. Risk assessments and trainings on industrial training. That is the first aid, the fire, and occupational safety and health.
So you somehow work alongside with NEMA?
NEMA is one of our accreditors. Actually, we cannot continue because like the lab is accredited by NEMA. Also the measurements of the standards are basically regulated by NEMA. And we work also with occupational safety and health. That's DOSH, the Directorate of Occupational Safety and Health, falling under the Ministry of Labor. Okay. So we also get the accreditation from there, and IPRA, because we've got to do the energy audits accredited by IPRA.
All right. Beatrice, who is a health economist? What do you do?
Well, I would first of all say I'm a jack of many trades, but I don't want to be overconfident and say I'm a master of all. Entrepreneurship is a journey. Yeah. Health economist, basically I'm a consultant in the healthcare industry. Right now, the issue of striking doctors, striking nurses, that's where the health economist comes in to assess a healthcare program or hospitals or institutions. Like for example, if Gaki decides to open a hospital, she will hire me in terms of consultancy to tell her, is that hospital viable in the area that she's going to set it up? Will it cater for diseases around that area? And how much money would she need basically to be able to do that setup? And will it be profitable in the long run for her, or even a church setup if they want to start a clinic? But apart from that is purely on consultancy. That's one business area I am in. Now in the other sectors, I think I followed the president. He said he has 4 big agendas. And his main agendas was manufacturing, and I think health was part of it, and also education. So I'm in like the director for Citadel company. We are a manufacturing company, and we do sanitation products, and also venturing into beauty products. I focus on alternative medicine because in this era of COVID, we need locally available materials to be able to be self-sustainable, because once there was lockdown and there were no flights, we saw various products going out of stock because we're so dependent on foreign companies. And then in the education sector, I'm also the director for homeschooling, especially in the church. As church people, we've realized when we take our kids to public system or even private system, there are various agendas being pushed to our kids, and for me I felt it's the high time someone took over and took advantage of it, so you can be able to have your kid at home and they can go to school without necessarily going under the system whereby, for example, if today the government said there will be no more praying in school and you want to raise your child in a godly manner. So with now our homeschooling, you're able to look after your kid, you're able to train your kid, you're able to be in close proximity with your kid. So that is, we move away from the culture where we dump kids for the teachers.
Right.
And then after that, 15 years later, you don't know who your kid is. Okay. So we're in homeschooling, it's an education, we are venturing into it. And we want to see how it goes. Yeah.
Okay, if you're joining us today, we are talking to women in business. And as you can hear, we have a caterer, we have an environmentalist consultant, and we have a health economist, a jack of all trades, literally. So Mary Gaki, is entrepreneurship a gift or it's a skill you have to develop over time?
I would say both, because you will find people who are very good with dealing with other people, because that's what entrepreneurship is all about, people's skills. And there are people who are really gifted with people's skills. But at the same time, you cannot just go into business blindly. You need the skills, you need the training, you need to work with somebody, probably look at someone who has done it before, read books, so that you can also equip yourself with the right skills to be able to get into business. Because once you get into business, that's when you'll realize it's not just about making money. You realize it's also about changing lives. And for you to keep repeat business, coming back, you know, having repeat business, you really have to know how to handle every client at a time. They are all very unique. You will never get 2 clients who are the same. So you really need the skill to handle business. The other reason why I would say you need the skill is also to manage your business. You're managing labor, that's your staff, you're managing money, you're managing stocks, you're managing so many things. You cannot just go into it blindly and say, oh, I am gifted, let me get in there. No, you need the skill.
So you need training. You need training.
You need training,
mentorship.
And training can come at different levels. You can go to school. There are very good schools that are training on entrepreneurship. You can work along somebody. You can shadow somebody who has done what you really want to do, acquire the skill, get to know the problems that the person is facing, the challenges of the business. It becomes easier because that person will become a stepping stone for you. So when you go there, you're well equipped to do the business.
Wow. If you're joining us and you'd like to do business, today you're going to get equipped. So share the link on your Facebook account, on your YouTube account. If you're on Instagram or Twitter, please also do the same thing. And let's get equipped together. So we've said you need both the gift and you need the skill. So Mary, when you wanted to start business, did you just wake up and go, or how did you get the capital? Because I'm sure many people, the problem really is usually the capital to start the business.
Number one, I would say that when you're starting a business, all you need is more than capital. Because you cannot wake up in the morning and say, now I'm going to put up a consultancy firm on environmental health and safety, because there are many things you need to consider apart from just the finances, in as much as they are also very important. So I would say that once you have purpose that this is what you want to do, look at several things. Do you have the workforce? Do you have the capital? Do you have the will? Do you have the know-how? Have you been registered? Do you have a running business that is fully equipped, that if today, like in tendering processes, you realize you asked for quite a number of documents, do you have them? If somebody asks you for a bank account today that is not reading personal details, the one that is reading your company details, do you have them? And that's why I'm saying that it's always important, especially for a woman, because now we're dealing with women. When you have decided that this is the way I want to go, you look beyond even your knowledge, and you look beyond where you have only been trained on. Because if you look at only the line of your study, then it will become a limitation, because you can actually start up a business. You're not fully equipped to do everything in all the areas that you want to cover. But there are many other ways you can jungle in between and still deliver, because there's also the experts who are also freelancers and are willing to come and join you up only when you have the business. So when you have that line of duty, that maybe that's the business you've got. Let's say like you have an audit and you have a fire and training. And maybe your line, like for me, my line is financial, I'm a financial auditor. But I needed to do a consultancy firm that is accommodating both the financial auditors and the environmentalists and the people who've been accredited to do safety and health. And safety and health is very broad, because we're looking at fire, we are looking at noise levels, we are looking at trainings, and all that are within. So what happens is that when you decide that this is the way to go, look beyond the capital. At that particular time, you may not have $1 million shillings that you think this is what you want, but you could have an idea that can still bring in the 1 million over time by utilizing the available resources, be it workforce, be it outsourcing. If you're not in a capacity, like if I get some work to do analysis of air, there are those ones that are called stack emissions. And I'm not in a position, because it's a very expensive exercise, I'm not in a position to deliver on that. I can outsource another company to come and do it on my behalf, but for the client, I will deliver it like I did. I'm the one who is invoicing. So you outsource. But capital, again, is also equally very important. You've got to look at what you need to accomplish and give yourself a time frame.
All right.
Yeah. So look beyond the capital, because I know that's where many people get stuck.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Beatrice, is it, we are in a patriarchal society, and mostly men dominate the highest echelons of business in either way. Would you think it's, in your experience, has it been easy to get funding, or maybe you've gone for a loan in a bank to fund your business as a woman? How is it easy, or what experience have you had?
First, I want to demystify something. Entrepreneurship is not for everybody. So there's a misconception where we force everybody to go into entrepreneurship. Just like leaders are born, entrepreneurship is leadership. So if you do not have the gift of leadership, trust you me, entrepreneurship is gonna be a headache for you. You are better off being employed and be comfortable with it, and go, because there's a lot of risk, there's a lot of pressure, and you have to be a lone worker. Now, the reason why business is so much associated with patriarchal is because most men, I would say, are born to be leaders. You know, like the scripture says, the men are the head of the homes. Yeah. So most of the time, it's a man's nature to lead. So you'll find men are a bit proactive when it comes to it. But now in the era we're in, where about the girl child is now being empowered, now you'll find most women with the gifting of leadership, because I know there are women born with a gift. There's a reason why I'm insisting on that, so that whoever is watching us, don't go quit your job because you've seen someone is driving a Ferrari on Facebook or Instagram, and you're like, yeah, I'm going to start my own business. No, business is, I don't want to say a chosen few, but business in itself, you have to have the gifting of leadership. If you don't have it, chances are you'll either give up on the way, or you'll end up being very frustrated because you're not cut to it. Be as it may, when it comes to financial institutions, just like my colleague here had said, when you're looking for that capital, many people initially, especially when you're starting out a new business, banks won't believe in you until you have piloted your idea and they have seen that the idea is actually working. So what usually happens, sometimes you might go to your parents, your friends who will believe in your shoddy idea, and they're willing to lose that money. Yeah. You know, sometimes you can have an idea and you're like, you need like, let's say 300,000. So you need friends or colleagues or people who believe in your idea, and they decide, we are willing to risk this 300K, even if it kikunywa margin is sour, because when it's a new idea, nobody believes in it. So most of the time I tell individuals, chances are you may be forced to have worked for some time, you save a little bit, then you pilot your idea, or you look for investors, because sometimes bank won't. My own experience, if it's a new business, they won't. They tell you, let's see 6 months, and then you're able to offer you. So sometimes you may save up in a circle, like you're working or doing something else, then you save up a little bit, then you go to the circle and get a loan, because when you go to a circle, it's not, you may not explain necessarily what you're going to do with it. So it's from your savings, and then you're able to start it off. But the challenge as a woman I have experienced is that when you meet investors, and maybe most of the time the investors are like male colleagues, because sometimes women supporting your business may be difficult, because we know women, I am being honest. So sometimes if you like go to men and like, I have this idea, I need you to invest in it. If they're not godly men, there are repercussions with it. They may ask for sexual favors, and all that, and they tell you if you're going to invest with you. So it becomes a little bit challenging. Unlike male colleagues, when they meet maybe over nyama choma, and they talk as men, and they're like, Buddha, hiyo idea ni poa, wanachanga. But for women, it becomes a little bit difficult. Number two, maybe your idea is capital intensive. If it's capital intensive, very few women, especially in our African setting, you'll find they have that huge sum amount of money. So even if you go to your tuchama, they're like, your pesa unaitisha, inakuwa ngumu. So for women, it's still a challenge. And I would reach out to the government. Although right now the government has introduced the Women Fund, I think which Obama launched, I think around 2015 for women and youth groups. But the challenge with it is that you are forced to be in a women group, so that they give you money, and then there's accountability and that category banking. And being an entrepreneur, you are a leader. And you know, when you're a leader, sometimes group mentality don't work with you. You want to move fast. So when there's a group, it derails you. So the government, I think it needs to come up with a way of funding, even if it's a new idea, to pilot it it's called incubation, because I find it like in the US and in the Western world, there's what we call incubation of businesses. So now we have incubation of businesses for women and even the youth.
That's awesome. If you're tuning in, please share the feed with your friends and let's engage. So we've said that women find it difficult to invest in another woman's business. Merigaki, why? Why?
Very difficult.
Beatrice just threw someone under the bus. Well, you know, we are changing, I would say that. We are changing because like in my circle, or basically in my line of business, a lot of women are appreciating the fact that they need a lot of help in planning for their events. You know, being a homemaker and things like that, you realize you need a lot of help with planning for an event, be it a wedding, be it catering or, all those kind of things. So women have actually started appreciating help. I think the reason maybe we really don't support other businesses is because there's a way we believe in ourselves, and we think if she can do it, I think I can do it even cheaper for myself. And women are also very resourceful. So they will always have an idea of whatever business she's presenting to me, there must be either another way, or I know somebody else who can do it, or I will try and just get another way, So I think that probably that could be one of the reasons. But I would say women have really come a long way.
They're evolving.
Yes. Women have come a long way with supporting their own. I think even, the way political leaders now have started coming up, and there's more spaces opening up for women and things like that. I think those are some things that are helping women to get out of that box of women don't support their own, women are their worst enemies. All those dimensions are changing.
So
Actually,
jealousy is
yeah.
decreasing. Yes,
even adding to that, on what she has said, I agree. Women actually are changing, and I realized, I think basically women are more competitive in nature. But if we have to change now this and continue changing, I think we've got to begin looking at business and in women and entrepreneurship as better way when we collaborate instead of compete. Like I can call you, you do the training for my staff, and you're a woman, and I'm a woman, and I've realized I have seen a lot of changes. We are slowly taking ground. We must agree on that. Slowly, it may be slowly, but we are taking ground as women because we are beginning to be more accepted. Like in the line I am, it's more men-oriented, sincerely. I have seen so many men in this field and very few women. And I was like, why don't we, even there's a group we have started on Telegram, and it's bringing up all women in Africa. It's an initiative where we come together as the people who are in occupational safety and health to help each other with ideas. And I realized that is where the strength is. While we are thinking, and many other women are thinking that this is the competition way, then others are thinking this is the collaboration way. And the one that is on the winning team is the one that is collaboration.
So I'm just wondering, you are in a male-dominated field.
Definitely.
Do they take you seriously?
That's a question for another day. There are those ones who are depending on many factors. Some of them are coming from cultural beliefs, who believes women sincerely should not even be seen in the leadership forums. And there are those ones who are again now coming up, the ones who believe that there's power in women. And you get, it's like the way we say that you can get equal shares of enemies and equal share of friends. Okay. There are those men and those people and the companies that will literally believe that because she's a woman, she will deliver better than a man. Yeah. And those are the people that now you need to make sure when they give you work, you give them quality work. You make sure that you mobilize all the resources to make sure that you deliver on point, because those are the people that believes in you. And those that believes in you are the ones that you keep and keeps the business running. All right? All right. Yeah.
That's awesome. So what we are saying is that women are evolving.
Yes, totally.
We are somehow realizing that it's good to collaborate rather than compete.
Yes.
Beatrice seems not to be agreeing with this idea.
King Solomon wrote and said, there's nothing new under the sun. So women will still compete. So when you see your fellow woman has a red dress, most likely you'll go buy a red dress because you saw she looked good. So eradicating that will be very difficult. But what I would like people to be enlightened is that business is all about collaboration of both sexes. That's when it progresses the best. So it's high time our men realize that women have the gift of the multiplication factor. So even in scripture, when you look at someone like Deborah, when you read scripture, it's not because there was no men existing in that time, but when God looked and he realized no man is rising to the occasion, he had no choice but not to use a woman. But if men understood the fact that when they come up with an idea and they involve a woman into it, it multiplies quick, and it's able to advance very fast. But the moment when it's only male dominated, you'll end up having what we call blind spots. I realized even in the manufacturing industry, for example, washing machines, dishwasher, as much as it's male engineers who came up with those machines, most likely it's their wives who influenced them. They're like, hey, my wife spent so much time washing clothes, let me come up with an invention of this. So we realize the way God created the universe, there is no way you can eradicate one sex and the other one is not existing. So as much as we are encouraging women-only groups, women-only companies, for me, I find it's very dangerous. It's a very dangerous trajectory we are going towards. But I'm looking whereby women and men coexist. For me, even in my own companies, I try to do that blending. I ensure it's not like it's a board, for example, a board of directors. You don't have 80% men and then 20%. You try as much as I have a mixture, because with the mixture, what you find, what one sex cannot comprehend, the other sex is able to comprehend, and when both align. For example, if it's Gaki, catering, it's assumed because it's catering, it's supposed to be women. Then you're shocked. There are men who, men they come up with very good recipes because in psychology, say as much as women think with both sides of the brain and men focus on one side of the brain, there is a reason why. They're able to see to the detail, to the letter, whereby they were able, whereby the woman, because of using both sides of the brain, they were able to miss. So if we do collaborative, for me, my approach in business is usually collaborative. I ensure it's not women power, because I'm not pro feminism. I am pro coexisting.
So I was actually coming to that feminism thing, because the feminist movement is saying women need to take over. Yes. And it's bringing out the issue that we are equal.
We are gifted differently and we need to coexist. And I think that was the basis of the whole situation. And even in our thinking, the way a man thinks, it's different from how a woman thinks. So those fine details, the woman straightens, the man maybe thinks in black and white. So the woman now is able to fine tune it in between.
Wow. So Beatrice has taken us from women just collaborating between themselves to collaborate with both genders, so that there is
a rich kind of
multiplication. Yes. We are going to go on a short break, but when we come back, we are going to pick up the conversation from where we've left.